Hello and welcome back to the channel, and today we start a brand new journey. Castlevania Order of Ecclesia, one of my favorite games from the Castlevania series that I've been wanting to play for the channel for a very long time. This is one of the games that back in my childhood, I pretty much played the crap out of it. I really enjoyed playing this game back when I was a kid. It was the first actual Castlevania game I ever played and beat. Back when I had my Nintendo DS, I didn't know anything about the Castlevania series until this game, and then after this game, I pretty much got hooked to the series. I've gotten a good bit of the games, however, I've not played all of them. But without further ado, let us jump right into the game. So, we are going to select a new file. I will be playing as Shanoa, that is the normal game mode for this game. And we'll play on normal difficulty, and we'll name the profile Coop Dog. Why not? Just for good old times. And let us begin.
Returning to life time and again since the ancient Middle Ages, the evil Lord Dracula has driven people to terror. Each time Dracula returned from the dead, the Belmont clan fought him in the shadows, wielding the Holy Whip. Through their efforts, humanity avoided the darkness, securing prosperity. But early in the 19th century, having lost their ability to resist the darkness, those in positions of power at the time began to search for new ways to counter Dracula. Our organization, Ecclesia, was born then as one of those countermeasures. Many organizations were established with the same goal, and day after day, they conducted their studies diligently. But each was dissolved when they failed to produce satisfactory results. But that was when Barlow, the leader of Ecclesia, finally made a surprising breakthrough that could stand up against Dracula.
And thus we have our first character, Shanoa, who is our main character, and we also have Albus, who is a member of also Ecclesia. Funny enough, back when I first played this game, I thought Albus was Shanoa's brother. Because they kind of do act like brother and sister, and that's why I kind of always thought of that. But Shanoa is our main character. We are going to be playing as her. Albus will go over his gameplay in the later, pretty much after the whole campaign. And they're talking about Barlow, who is the headmaster of Ecclesia. He's basically making Shanoa the bearer of Dominus, which is basically a superior glyph that can destroy Dracula. But it seems that Albus is a bit upset by this because it seems that he lied, but there's nothing we can do because the bell is summoning for us. So let's head on up. Of course, Albus seems to want to warn us about something. So yeah, Albus is a little bit upset about something, but we must head on up to the top, and also right up to the top, if you come over here, you can grab your first record. I will try my best to show off all of the hidden secrets, but without further ado, let us continue. Several weeks pass. So yeah, we kind of got a little bit duped there by Albus, who has betrayed Ecclesia. But it seems that there's more to it than just what was Albus was going on. It seemed that Barlow had made a deal with Albus that he would be the bearer of Dominus, but lied behind his back, trying to make Shinoa the bearer. Here we are going over a quick combat tutorial. Basically, glyphs are the way we attack. Basically, we have to use the weapons we have to use to defeat the forces of darkness. We get Comforter first off, which is a rapier glyph, which is a pretty good glyph to start with, because Comforter, even though you're not going to be using it for a lot of the adventure, it's a pretty good glyph. So we can cycle through attacks with X and Y. Of course, each attack will consume MP or magic points. Once you run out of MP, you cannot attack. You have to wait for it to recharge. But we can also perform what is called a Glyph Union, pressing up and X or Y to basically send out a strong attack. Think of it as kind of like a final, it's like a finishing move. But you consume hearts using that move. To replenish hearts, you can either go over to the little cauldron and it'll dispense hearts. The big hearts will, of course, I think restore 10. Will restore 10 hearts, and then little ones will restore 1 heart, which we'll get into that a little later. Which we just took out a bunch of enemies. However, going back into the previous room, you can get another record. You can get record 5, which I think that's regardless of how you did in combat. I'm not entirely sure. So Barlow has given us our orders. We are to track down Albus and bring him back to Ecclesia if we can, and hopefully retrieve Dominus from him. But also during that, we also learned that we basically lost our memories. We basically knew how to use glyphs, but our memories are gone. So now we head off to the monastery. That big area is called the world map. We'll go into that a little bit more detail later. There's not much to it at this moment. So the monastery, pretty much a straightforward little dungeon we have to go through. First off, our enemies are skeletons, which are pretty much self-explanatory. They throw bones up in the air, they can jump around to dodge your attacks. Easy to dodge their attacks, all you gotta do is backdash and you can dodge the bones. But going through the monastery is pretty much a straightforward path. Right here is a bat, pretty common in the Castlevania series, and pretty annoying once they're in large groups. I'm going to actually head off to the right here and continue down this path. Next enemy we have is a zombie, a pretty straightforward enemy. They just shamble forward. This is a warp room. Warp rooms with the blue tiles in the map on the top right corner. You can use these to warp to any of the blue tiles in the dungeon, as long as you have both bubbles activated. Once you warp, it's a one-time use, and then you have to leave the room to basically reactivate the bubble. But they're really useful, and especially when you're in larger dungeons, you're going to have to use the warps a lot. So continuing on here, taking out some more skeletons, and we get our first level up, finally. And next enemy is a Banshee. Notice we did 1 HP. Banshees are extremely tough. They're basically high defense enemies, and we got sandals out of that treasure chest, which are basically unequipable. You can equip 3 different types of body armor. You can equip a headgear, a body gear, and then a footwear. Sandals are a footwear, which raise our defense by 1. We have on our body, we have our just regular dress. And here we have a new glyph. These are going to be, these are our first ability glyphs. This is Magnus, which allows us to use, basically use magnetic fields to basically connect to these little orbs. And of course, we can use the control stick to move around and release with R to launch ourselves in any direction. I did not go over this, but these are save points, the angels. They do fully restore your HP, which is the red bar. Coming up here all the way, we can get our another item chest. We get a cotton hat, which is our first piece of headwear. You can also equip rings. However, we do not have any rings at the current moment. That chest we cannot get for a while. We'll need to come back with a new ability. Just coming through here, and we hear a cat. There's the cat right there. But first, might as well take out the Banshee. Slide down here, grab this cat, and the cats actually do prove to be an important thing for later on. Once you collect all of the cats to a certain area. Coming in here, we have a new enemy, a bone scimitar. They do drop a glyph, and also we have these falling blocks. Can't do anything with that currently yet. Now, I am going to try and get the bone scimitar's glyph. It's a very easy drop. In fact, I might get it here within the first couple tries. Going over the candles, you do get money, and you don't have to worry about money in this game. Money is a very easy thing to get in this game. It practically throws it at you. But when you use a glyph union, you will no longer obtain money, you will obtain small hearts, which will restore 1 heart per regen. Grabbing some more level ups here, taking out these ghosts, which are just floating horses. I actually don't really like the floating horse heads. I prefer the old ghost look where it was a floating skull with hands. I prefer that. And here we have a glyph statue, which contains Coulter, which is a knife glyph. I will not be using this because basically all it does is you throw knives, but it does so little damage, like very little. It is a good ranged weapon, but I will not be using it. Coulter is just not one. The better Coulters will do better damage, but the first Coulter you get is just kind of useless. So continuing on here, we have a gold chest up here. And opening this up, we obtain the Book of Spirits. Display enemy names as you hit them. Basically, now you can see what you're attacking. But of course, in the Dominus Collection, I'm playing this on the Xbox. You basically can see the bottom left screen, and you can see what you're attacking, which makes the Book of Spirits completely useless. Continuing on here, secret right here, if you check this little ledge here, you get red drops, but I'm actually going to go back real quick, because I think there's some stuff back here. Of course, still not getting that glyph. I really wish I could get that glyph. It's a really good one, especially early game. Yeah, going through back here, I think there's a secret up here, too. I think, if you, attack this wall here. There are hidden secrets within walls as well, just like the ledge. Taking down that wall will reveal this secret room, and at the very end, we get this red chest that contains a heart max. So basically, you have 3 different items you can get from these red chests, aside from just items. There's HP ups, heart max ups, and also MP ups. Sorry about the little cut there. I had to go take care of something. Heart max ups will, of course, up your hearts. Hit point ups will up your HP. And also MP max will give you more MP to use. Open this chest. We get meat. Chests are not, the brown chests are not guaranteed, whatever you get. It'll be a random item, in those. So, going back over here, taking out Spawn Scimitar. Yes, there it is. Let's take out this Banshee real quick. And now we get one of my favorite glyphs, Sakar. A sword glyph. And this is absolutely one of my favorite glyphs to use for a while. It has an overhead attack. Basically, you get an arching attack. My playstyle for this game is I like to have a overhead attack, then a long reaching attack, and then also a magic attack, which we'll get into magic a little bit later. We don't have any of that right now. Okay, getting another level up. That actually worked out a little bit well, even though we got hit by the bone. There is a bag of money over here if you get lucky with your jumping. I'm gonna head over here. I think this is something for an extra item. It's not looking like it. Actually, I might be wrong. So we're gonna go to the other area. The candles actually, I think, are what tell you if there's an item in the room or not. Taking out the Bone Scimitar. There's another Banshee, which now we're doing 2 hits, or 2 HP to the Banshees, which means we have to do a little bit less swinging. Going back over to the left. We have an endless spawn of zombies. Zombies can't actually drop an item, they drop rotten meat, which I do not recommend you consume, because if you consume it will basically do damage to you. In that chest, we got a cult thread, but you cannot do anything with that just yet. We'll get to that later. But just pushing on through here. Could have backdash away from that. I really don't like backdashing in these rooms where it just spawns infinite enemies. And especially that right there, where the enemy spawns right underneath you and then just freezes you. That's really annoying. So now we come to this room, coming up here with Magnus. We get an MP max up, so that's gonna be the 3rd item we did get. Here's a save room, we're gonna save, because I actually am gonna take on what's in the next room over. Coming up here, we have also the warp bubble, so we can now activate that. And here we have is a blue door with a red eye. These are boss doors. I am gonna put Forder and you, regardless, have to have Magnus for this. And we have our first boss, Arthroverta. Big bug with, well, actually, I consider this to be a lobster with a human face. I don't know why. I guess because of the claws. It's got several attacks. It can curl up into a ball and roll around. It can reach out with its claws and attack you. And it can also spit up a sticky web that can come down. Pretty easy boss, straightforward. If you take a boss out without taking damage, you can get the medal for it. So he seems to have marked a village on this map, so we need to go see what he's doing over there. So, we have an objective. We need to get basically Thomas back. It seems that he had something to do with during the whole ceremony. He basically meddled during that, and we've lost our memory thanks to that. So now we need to head back. Using the warp bubble, of course, that'll get us back here faster, and get us over to the entrance much easier. I wish warp bubbles were more common in certain maps, but I can understand why certain maps won't have warp bubbles. But yeah, making our way back to the world map, we can find that they have already marked the village for us. We can now go to Weigal Village. And coming to the village, there seems to be someone here, trapped in the Tomb of Amber. And we get our first magic spell, Torpor.
You have saved me.
Which we'll go over in another episode, in a later episode. Basically, this is Father Nikolai. He is basically the mayor of the village, which he basically tells us we need to go to Pearson Island because we need to find the other villagers, and it's also the best place to find Albus. So we'll head there in the next episode. If you enjoyed, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next episode. Peace.